Welcome to Virtual Concert Halls, broadcasting live from Vienna, Virginia. Our online broadcasting platform is dedicated to streaming live performances and panel discussions. We connect musicians with their audiences and with each other. We are an independent virtual stage for musical performances for music educators of all instruments and music-related disciplines, for music promoters, supporters, and music lovers. Our guests join our programs from their own locations around the world. They bring and share their musical gifts, their expertise, their personalities, and their dreams. We present our guests' opinions, and we hope that our audience will benefit from hearing different and maybe sometimes conflicting points of view in classical music, aesthetics, business, and other topics which we raise throughout our programs. Welcome. Today we are presenting a documentary live show, Artist's Portrait. We invited distinguished artists to join us to tell their story and share how their lives were shaped by important events and people they met. There's always something to learn from one's life story, as the turns and the choices which we make can truly shape who we are, our creativity, our artistry, and our influence on the music world. Please welcome Boris and Diane Martinovich. They will be joining us from Belgrade. Both are opera singers whose lives had been guided by their dedication to music. As opera singers enter the stage to present their characters in the opera, it's usually accompanied by beautiful music, beautiful entrance music. We thought it was appropriate to give this distinguished couple a stage on virtual concert halls to make their entry.
Vanne, la tua meta già vedo, ti spinge il tuo dimone, e il tuo dimon son io, e me trascina il mio, nel quale io credo inesurato Iddio. Credo in un Dio crudel che m'ha creato simile a sé e che nell'ira io no. Dalla viltà d'un cerme o d'un atomo vile e sfonato son scelerato perché son uomo e sento il fango originario in me. Questa la mia fe. Credo cor, siccome crede la vedove l'altemio, che il mal ch'io penso che da me procede, per mio destino adempio. Giusto è un trionfe fardo e nel viso, nel cor, che tutto in lui bugiardo, lagrima, bacio, sguardo, sacrificio ed onor. E credo l'uom gioco di iniqua sorte, dal tormento della culla. Al verme della viendo tanta irrision, la morte. E poi e poi la morte il nulla. E vecchio follo il
Ah, what a phenomenal power and voice. My goodness, I love every note you ever sing. You're amazing, amazing singer, Boris. Welcome.
Thank you.
An honor to have you.
Pleasure to be here with you.
Uh, well, thank you. Listen, of course, every artistry and every accomplished musician and everybody's life story has the origins. So, and in the younger age, where we go for school, who we meet, and how we approach our education and what we learn from people around matters a lot. Would you tell us what were your beginnings? How did it all started? And what meaning do you assign to those early years at Juilliard School of Music? To what shaped you?
Well, I started late. I started playing the guitar when I was 4 years old. And,
That's
and
an
then by the
interesting
time
transition.
I was 8 or 9, I was already playing in a small orchestra with mandolin. So I was reading and sight reading music quite well and teaching my other colleagues to play with me. We need to practice more and stuff like that. And then at that time I was living in Croatia and I moved to New York City. And of course, the first thing I could have done with my first money I saved is to buy myself a mandolin so I can play. But that wasn't not enough. So I started playing the piano and I started playing the organ. I was going to the church. And one day, while still in school, somebody told me there's an audition for an opera nearby. And I said, yeah, why not? I'm going to go and audition for this opera company. Um, and the only opera aria I knew at that time was from Don Giovanni. So I went over there, I sang, and they said, "Excuse me, but can you wait till the end of the auditions? We want to tell you something." I said, "Okay, I'll wait." I hear these wonderful singers. I said, "I have no chance. What am I wasting my time here?" And finally, they finished, and they said, "You win. Actually, we want you to sing for us Don Basilio in Barbara Seville by Rossini." And at that time, I was only 16 years old. So what I did was to go to the store. I bought the score. I learned my part. I came to the performance. I performed, and I did very well. As a matter of fact, one of the teachers came to me, who's an opera singer, who I knew from school. He said, "Who do you study with?" I said, "Nobody. I study with myself. I just came and sang." I said, "This is impossible. You have to. You have to come and I want this professor who is the best professor of opera, Armin Boyajian is his name. He's very famous because all of his students are at the Metropolitan Opera. He has to hear you." I said, "Okay." I go. And I went and I sang for him, of course, the only aria I knew at that time. And the new one that I learned is from Barbara Seville. And he was totally impressed. He said, "I will take you on to be my youngest student." And I said, "Fine." And I started studying, but on one condition: you are not allowed to perform now. You have to now start learning how to do vocalizing and this and that and the other and so forth. And I did listen to him. And finally he said, "Yeah, now you're ready." And I was about 20 years old to go to audition. "I know there's an audition, go there and see how you do." So I went there, I sang. At that time, I knew some more arias to sing, and I already had played pretty well the piano. And he said, you're hired. Here's the contract." And I signed it. And that was the opening of Lincoln Center. It was Refice Cecilia. And it was quite a big event because with Renata Scotto, a very all famous artist, and it was actually even a CD was made live and all of that. And I got a lot of offers immediately after that. And so it started very quickly. And I was still at Juilliard School of Music. And I was starting to perform in all different theaters all around America at that time, even including Carnegie Hall. And most of my students didn't see me at school, and my professors, and I asked, "I'm sorry, I've been already out of town. I've been singing, performing." And this is the best thing for you. This is what you should be doing. It is not a problem. You are a wonderful student, and you just go on performing. This is what you should be doing, because this is the best way to learn, actually. Is how to be a performer is actually to learn on stage, and that's what I did. Here, this is a photo of a Carmen I did with Agnes Balsa, and so the career started and went on and on and on, just very quickly, and that's how things go. You have to go along as it goes.
That's very interesting. So, would you say to the young musicians, just follow what takes you forward and believe in yourself and keep going? Is that kind of like a summary of your early approach?
Yes, I think so. You have to know that you also have to be prepared to perform. As a pianist or as any musician, has to be sure of himself and be ready to do it.
Absolutely. And I understand that one of the important events in the and one of the turns of the career maybe was your audition with Pavarotti. Can you tell us how was that like? Pavarotti is a
As a matter
famous
of fact, I was
man.
yes. I was performing somewhere. I just came into town and told me, "Oh, you know that Pavarotti has this audition that you for singing with him in Philadelphia." And I said, "Yeah, why not? I'm gonna go see if I can, get in." So I came into the audition and I asked, "Can I please audition?" I said, Yes, you can, but you have to wait till the end because everybody's already been scheduled, and we will find a few minutes for you at that time. So I waited, and I said, okay, okay. So I said, well, I'm going to do the best I can, no matter how much I have to wait. So I came, and then my moment finally came. I woke up, and I came, and I sang the Ivan Suzanyan's aria, the opening scene, which is a very big one note, but I sing very, very long time. And I sang this note, and Luciano said, "Thank you very much. You are hired. You are wonderful. We don't need to. I don't need to hear anymore." And I was shocked. I thought he didn't like me because he stopped me. He says, and sometimes I can even do that too. I can listen to a voice with just one note, and you can tell the quality of that singer,
How
which
interesting.
is amazing. But
It's
now
amazing. One note can
something more
make or
happened,
break
actually.
you.
Something more happened, which is very strange. Then the time came that I had to go to Philadelphia to work with him and do the finals, I guess. There, I was hired and asked to sing Verdi Requiem in Mexico City for television. And it was a very important production, and I thought this would be very good for me. And I'm going to miss the opportunity with Pavarotti. And my friend said, "You are crazy. You are missing such a important. He's one of the top opera singers ever, and you should not cancel this and go to perform." And I said, maybe I'll be lucky and I'll get another chance with Luciano. So I went to Mexico. I sang wonderfully. I had a very good performances, and it went very well. And a few years later, I got an offer to sing the opening night at San Francisco Opera with Luciano Pavarotti. So I didn't lose anything. It was a win-win situation.
How interesting. That's very interesting. You never know what the future holds. So performing was your focus of developing your career, and
That's
it
right.
worked out. Yeah, this is
And you should
wonderful.
always believe in second chances.
Exactly. Believe in second chances and take the first chances and the second chances and just keep performing.
Right.
Oh, that's a beautiful picture. Tell us about this scene.
This is from Don Giovanni. And if I'm not mistaken, it was from a Lille production. I did many different productions in France, and it was a very, very nice experience.
You worked with a lot of most established, distinguished artists and opera singers and producers and everyone, and I know you worked with Domingo as well. How was that like?
Well, with Domingo, I sang. I think the first performance was in San Francisco. Actually, it was in Fanciulla del West. And I sing my little aria in the beginning of the first act, and he comes right after me. And each time I went off stage, he said to me, "Bravo, Boris, bravo!" And I was so impressed that such a legend said bravo to me as I was singing. But in many years later, and we sang quite a lot, many different performances. We were even in Manila and Tosca. We did an incredible recording of Il Guarani by Antonio Gomez, and it was performed in Bonn, and we had an incredible performance there, which was 55 minutes of applause.
Wow, incredible.
And yes, and what's amazing that later on he became the artistic director of Washington. No, no, of Washington D.C. Opera,
Yeah,
and
Washington
he
National Opera.
chose
That's right.
and he chose that opera to be performed and asked me to sing. So I opened it with him, and it was a wonderful experience again to do the performances. And I was my friend who was the ambassador of Croatia in Washington. He said, it would be a great idea if you could convince Placido to come and sing and do a concert with you in Croatia. Could you do that? I said, of course, I'll ask him. So I did, and I asked him very nicely, politely. We had a little dinner together, And I popped up the question, and he says, "Yes, of course, I'll do. I'll come when I'm free next summer. I'll do it." And that's we did. We did the concert, and we had like 40,000 people at the open door. It was a wonderful, wonderful performance.
Oh, incredible! 40,000 people.
Yes,
Yeah, let's hope we're able to do that soon again, and draw such a crowd for the music. It would be incredible. Yeah, opera can draw huge crowds, and it's
yes,
just such a joyful experience to be on stage and to be in the audience of those.
that's right. And it was on live television, so all of Croatia saw it. So it was quite amazing.
Wonderful, amazing. What an amazing experiences. We have one more video of your performance, and I know the audience is just would be so happy to see some more of your artistry. Let's put it up.
Okay.
Vola, o serenata, la mia diletta è sola, e con la bella testa abbandonata posa tra le lenzuola. Serenata vola, oh serenata vola, splende pura la luna, l'ala in silenzio stende, e dietro velli della cova bruna la lampada s'accende. Pura la luna splende, pura la luna splende, vola o serenata, vola o serenata, vola o serenata, la mia diletta è sola, ma sorridendo al carmesa sonata torna fra le lenzuola. Serenata vola, oh serenata vola, l'onda sogna sul lido e il vento sulla fronda, e a baci miei ricusa ancora nido la mia signora bionda. Sogna sul lido l'onda, sogna sul lido l'onda, vola o serenata, vola o serenata, vola.
What a joyful, beautiful singing. The world needs more of voices like yours, Boris, especially now.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is great. You toured with Giuseppe Di Stefano. I am dying to hear more details about how that was for you.
Yeah, at the time I was in San Francisco singing, and he came with a friend of mine, and he said, I need some help. Would you come and sing with me a tour in Mexico and a concert in Palm Springs? We can do some duets together, and you can do some songs and arias, and this way it will be easier for me to carry I don't have to carry the whole show by myself. I said, sure, of course. And and that's what we did. And we had a wonderful time singing together. And he's such a wonderful personality. And of course, he was so famous with Kala, sang so many performances with her, and the whole tour he did with her as well. And tell me many personal stories, which I shouldn't even say what they were about.
Oh, you should go for it. Tell us the personal stories.
Well, they loved each other, but they also sometimes had fights and things like that, which was personal.
So, what do those kinds of musicians fight over?
Well, when you were in a relationship, which is a strange relationship as they were, it's with two great artists. It's always comes up some kind of things that distant accordance and stuff like that.
Right, but did you feel you and Di Stefano were pretty much on the same page as musicians, as artists?
Yeah. We sang beautifully together, and we matched our voices matched wonderfully. We did the duet from Bohème, for example. It's such a joy, and his songs. He was quite old at that time. He was not in the best shape, but still, sometimes those some tones came out so beautiful, so perfect, with full of emotion. That's what he was.
Yeah, he is a king of soulful singing. That's what he's
Yeah.
known for. Yeah, wonderful. Those are great experiences. And Carmen in Vienna, another stop,
Yeah.
another turn
Well,
in your career and life and meeting
it is
amazing people.
because this happened just after Carreras got well after his sickness, and we scheduled only three performances in Vienna, and it was Agnes Balza as our Carmen, and wonderful cast we had, and of course was Claudio Baldo conducting, and Ferrelli's production, which is one of the most beautiful productions. And it was a huge success. We had 45 minutes of applause,
Oh my
which is
goodness.
amazing. It's like almost a whole hour.
Yeah.
It never ended, and this is something you'll never forget to perform with him. We became friends, and we saw each other later on, and so on. And as a matter of fact, after the performance, he said, "You have to come on and have dinner with me. Come on, let's go." And we went.
Isn't that
And I
wonderful
must
too?
say, a lot of, I also sang with so all three tenors, which is amazing. I have performed, and many people ask me, who is the best of them all? What do you think? Which is, I said, they're all three great in their own ways. You cannot say one is better than the other. That's impossible.
Yeah, because they each have such a strong personality. So do you. And Rossini Festival, that's an important event in the music world. Tell us about that.
Yes, I was quite young at that time, and I was offered to sing the title role of Moses in Rossini, and it was a great role for me. I had a big success, and I really enjoyed singing that role. And after that, I got many offers to sing Rossini operas everywhere practically, and I did a lot of Semiramide, which is one of the most difficult bass roles
Oh yeah, it's virtuosic. Yeah.
because it's totally with all the agilities that you have to sing with the soprano and with the mezzo in the tempos, and I must say I did quite well. But I had to practice even on the day of the performances, these agilities, just to make sure they work. So you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to, like a pianist, you have to have your fingers, warmed up. I had to warm up all those little tiny notes, as they say.
Yeah, yeah, those virtuosic parts are not for every bass voice. It's they're challenging, and not every bass singer would even take those challenges.
Yeah, it's true. It's true because, and I love their challenges. Actually, I enjoyed singing all those difficult parts and difficult arias. And Semiramide, I enjoyed doing it. I did it many times, and it's quite a challenge. But it's a pleasure when you do it and you get it right.
Yeah, of course. Yes, it's a lot of A pleasure, and I guess to feel that you've done the best you can in preparation, and here it is, the success comes. Yeah, and both you and Diane are opera singers, and uh, of course, I have a question. How do you get along? But before you even attempt to answer, I would like to hear and watch how the two phenomenal opera singers get along on stage. Let's
Okay.
watch the video. Diana, welcome. So wonderful to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, so wonderful to be here with you, Anna. Thank you.
And I asked your husband a question, and I'd like to hear from you first. You get along so beautifully on stage. Is that a hallmark of your marriage? Getting along?
Well, me and my husband, we have yes, we do get along. I think the secret is in his maturity. He knows when not to answer, and he knows how to be quiet.
Okay, guys, you heard that, right?
No. Really, what we have inside, what we have in our marriage and privately, we are very much alike. And there is 20 years difference between us, but we don't feel that as an obstacle. We really get along in every sense, not just in a personal way, but in a professional way and in personal way. And we really do fit to one another in the best possible way. And I always, when people ask me about him, and always journalists in newspapers and on television tend to ask me, how does it look like to live with an opera star? And I always say that the opera got probably one of the most beautiful voices in 20th century, and I got a beautiful husband.
Wonderful. This is great. Diana, you yourself are an opera star. So, how did everything start for you?
Well, I was listening to Boris, and I was just thinking it's quite challenging to talk about my performances in my career after hearing everything that was part of his career and his performance. But yes, I was brought up in a family. My father was a banker, and my mom was a business manager. They were both university educated people, and I was, as a pupil, excellent pupil during my high school and during the university. So it was quite expectation that I should become a lawyer or banker or doctor or something like that. And all I want to do ever in my life is singing. And I was always in struggling with my parents about it, because my father used to say, "You can finish some real school, like like you can be a doctor, you have a good grades, and you can sing always in your spare time." And I remember when I was 14, I told him once, "No, I will sing or I will die." And then he understood how much my desire and belonging to art and to music and to singing actually is. And I actually started also very early. I was 8 when I had my first concert on stage, and it was with the orchestra. And I'm something that in Germany people used to call us Natursänger, or natural singers. Basically, I was born with this something that is big part of vocal technique that people used to study during vocal education. So it wasn't that difficult for me to conquer this vocal technique during my education. But even before I entered the music school, formal music and voice education, I already had 6 or 7 years performance experience. And when I was 12, I was part of two opera
Both Boris and Diane are joining us from Belgrade, and it is quite remarkable that we are able to connect with people in Belgrade, um, despite challenges which the internet connections pose in different parts of the world. And as we are rejoining both of our guests, Boris, is your connection good now?
I think
Let's
so.
see.
I hope
Let's
so.
hear you. Yep, yep. So Diane was telling us part of the story how she was able to convince her father of her passion towards opera, and she was able to learn the vocal technique, which was less of a challenge for her because of the way her, I guess, her structure of the vocal cords was, or something like that. If you please help us through the next stages. We were talking about the early ages of your wife.
Uh, I think she's wonderful and a very talented singer, but also as many other talents, which is surprising. Usually, God gives you only one talent, and then you have to figure you get somebody else to do the other things for you. So I'm lucky because she's good as a manager. She's good with many other things that she does. She will tell you more about this herself because she's very good at that. Uh, I'm not so talented, so multi-talented, I should say, like she is. Is she there on online?
No, not yet. If you can tell us maybe a little bit about your business, in addition to being accomplished opera stars, both of you, you're also music managers, and you have established several businesses in the music world. And once Diane is able to reconnect, we'll continue with her personal part of the story.
Well, this is where I'm lucky because I have her to.
We were warned that the connection in Belgrade is unstable and could be challenging sometimes to maintain. Um, Both Boris and Diane are entrepreneurs in addition to being phenomenal opera singers. And I don't want to give out too much of the preview in the hopes that they will be able to reconnect. But still, I'd like to mention that they've established their own competition for young singers, and the competition has gained quite a bit of attention from the music community. They will tell us more about the specifics of the judging and the prizes and how people are able to join this competition. But it's a competition which offers fantastic support to the young musicians, and it gathers incredible talent from the musical community of the professional musicians who come and join Boris and Diane in judging. The competition gives tremendous support to all contestants and, of course, strives to provide a path to career for its winners. And in addition to the competition, Diane and Boris are creators of a fantastic and very influential online magazine. The magazine is called Martinovich Life and Business Magazine, and it's focused on spotlighting interesting stories of incredible musicians and artists and business people, providing advice and support to the music business community. And again, I'm struggling here not to give out too much because we are still in the waiting, expecting mode, hoping that Boris and Diana will be able to join us again. And it looks like their connection has improved, and they will be joining us in a second. Diane, that's great to see that you were able to conquer the Belgrade
Hi,
connection
I'm so sorry.
obstacles.
I really don't know what to say.
Yes, I know what I want you to say. Tell us a bit about your audition for San Francisco Ariza in Stuttgart. For Francisco Ariza in Stuttgart. Am I saying this right? Or did we lose the connection again?
Oh, I mean, yes, we are here. Well, basically, what I wanted, I always, as every young singer, we all want to just come to the top, come to the world top singers. And for me, I looked at one way to the top was definitely be to try to enter university in Germany, because Germany was the best country for our singers in Europe. And I remember I scheduled two auditions, one in Mannheim at very famous Professor Rudolf Piernay, and the second one in Stuttgart. I didn't plan to go to the university there. It was master studies. I just thought, okay, well, I'm in Mannheim, so Stuttgart is nearby, so why not take two auditions? And I went to Mannheim, and when I passed the audition, but professor in Mannheim told me, yes, you are great, but I don't have a place right now in my class, so I cannot take you in this year if you can wait for the next year. And I said, okay, and I was very devastated, actually. And I went to Stuttgart only just to sing. I didn't want to go to Stuttgart. But then after the audition, there was one famous Croatian singer there who was working on university also as a voice teacher, Duna Vezovic. And after the audition, she came to me and she said, look, you know, Francisco Araiza would like to work with you. He said that he has one place for you in his class. And I remember I asked her, because I'm coming from Croatia, and we don't know that much about what is going on in the world. In that time, we didn't know. And I told her, but who is Francisco Araiza? And I remember she said to me, hush, don't you say that you don't know who he is. He's like world opera star and #1 Mozart singer in the whole world. And I said, okay, yeah, thank you. Okay. And that is how actually my European and, as I used to say, serious career started, because I came in Maestro Araiza class, and he's such a great top artist, and working with him was amazing in every way. So we have also open door to top agencies and top managers for singers. And we also had entry level to connections and masterclasses with a lot of very famous singers like Dietrich Fischer-Dieskau and Julia Varadi and Grace Bumbry. Those were all great artists that I had the pleasure to meet and to work with them. So after a year, I studied in my professor's class. I had my first debut in Opera House in Stuttgart, and it was very successful. It was Margareta, main role in Charles Gounod Faust. And from that successful debut, I started to perform mostly major roles. I sang mostly Mozart because this one here is Fior di Ligi from Mozart's opera Così fan tutte. And I used to perform all over Germany, Italy, a little bit in Switzerland, and in Austria. And I also, in 2009, I received a Byron's Reward. That was reward of a German American's friendship for the most prospective foreign artist. And it was in Weiße Saal, that is like something like a city hall in Stuttgart, and the American ambassador Mary Yates was there also, and a lot of very important people. So it was quite amazing. And this year it was Elektra from Idomeneo, also in Stuttgart, Staatsoper in Stuttgart. And then when I was around 2011, I remember that I met my husband. Um, we met because of profession. We're supposed to work together, to perform a concert together. And we met, I remember he was in California and he flew all the way to Europe to have a meeting with me. And the moment I saw him, I knew that I had the feeling that he's going to be very important to me somehow in my life. But during that period of time, I was connecting it to profession. Um, but from our first meeting, basically our life started. And the very interesting thing is that we didn't have that much projects. We didn't sing that much on concerts or performances. But from that first meeting, we started to live together. And as a product of this beautiful life and beautiful marriage, we have two children, Nina and Victor. And yes, this is Nina and Victor. This picture is, I think it was 3 years ago. And when I became mom, simply my priorities changed. So I decided to put my performing career on hold, and today dedicate myself more to vocal pedagogy, although I'm still performing live with my husband. This is also in California, me, my husband, and our daughter. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. And I think, and besides working as a voice teacher and a singer, I've been also running several other businesses. I have my life coaching and business consulting company in New York, and I started the Life and Business magazine. This here is a cover page of my book, How to Start and Run Your Business Successfully. I also founded an art foundation, Allegro MB. Basically, what we do, we organize culture and music events and concerts with social inclusion. When I say social inclusion, we tend to solve social problems through art and music to connect people and places affected by war.
That's very interesting. And so these are big changes in your personal life and in your approach to the music, which came with having a family. And that's something many artists struggle with. How difficult or easy was that to make those shifts and changes in life to you?
When I was pregnant with my first daughter, I simply had to stop practicing because I had a difficult time during pregnancy. And it's not that hard. I think it's just a matter of choice. Because people choose, especially women, they choose. Should I be mom or should I be a star in a career? For some of them, maybe it is possible to have that both, but I don't think so because children, when they're small, and you know that because you're a mom as well, they just need your attention. They need you to be there with them. And I know that through my children, how much they need me. Even now, when we have a concert, that is like one day of preparation on the concert because I need to be quiet, I need to prepare myself. So on that day, I'm not mom to my children. They need to be with the nanny or with the mom or with my mother, with grandma. So it's basically you choose what you want to be. And I think if I gave them life. They didn't want that. This was my choice. And since I gave them a birth, it's also my responsibility to create the best possible world for them, at least now when they are young. So it was my choice to be a mom and put my career on hold. And of course, I think that advantages that my husband is also a opera singer. So when I needed to work with someone to come back, I always have had someone in my home to whom I could work with in order to come back to the stage.
That's wonderful to have that support and professionally
Yeah.
and a loving family, and to be dedicated to it. It's just so important and so optimistic.
Yes.
Do you know, Diane, if Boris will be able to join on a different computer, or that is technologically
I think that we
not
have
good?
some technological issues, but maybe he can join with me here.
Yeah, let's see if we can just do that. That would be
Okay.
wonderful.
Are you here, Boris?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's so good.
So,
So I'm
time you
not sure if you will be able to hear me like this. Can you hear me with just one headphones?
Yes, yes,
Yes, we
I
can
can
hear you
Oh,
hear.
perfectly.
great. So, what a beautiful family. Wonderful musicians, wonderful artists, great loving couple, great parents, and exceptionally successful opera singers, and business people who bring so much joy and hope and so much support to the younger generation, to students, to future opera singers, and to the musical community at large. This has been just such an incredible pleasure to host both of you on our program. Thank you so much for conquering the technological challenges and finding the time and taking the time from your children to come on stage with virtual concert halls and present your life story and your yourself as people and artists.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for inviting us.
Thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon again. Both
Okay.
Boris and Diana are
Pleasure.
judges on on this Perceiver competition, so we'll see you judging. And now
All
the
right.
contestants will know what kind of caring and warm people will be judging their performances.
Thank you,
Thank
Anna.
you. We're
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, and
Bye bye.
bye bye. And with this, I want to thank our viewers, our supporters, and of course, our Virtual Concert Halls team, people behind the scenes of this platform and its ability to offer these incredible meetings with people all over the world, musicians, promoters, music lovers. Thank you, everyone, and see you again soon. Bye.